Could this be the end of this game in regards to the characters? Is looking like it's most likely the end for the characters for this game. There's not going to possibly be any more, considering what's going on. 1 year later, the anniversary has passed. Welcome to this live premiere. We're going to be talking about a new character, and going forward, I may as well just start making these movesets that are dedicated to new DLC characters that can be in a third game or a different game, since we're probably not going to see any more characters in this game. It's sad.
Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2.
I had fun playing the game. Before we even get into Read Aloud, I just wanted to just start talking about a little bit of the anniversary. I was expecting to see some kind of announcement in regards to the game for new content, and the patch is cool and all. Every character that you could see on the screen and many more got changed and were adjusted. Their moves are a little bit stronger. Some things got buffed, some things got nerfed, and every character plays a little bit differently. Some of their moves are different, especially with the latest character and potentially the final character for Iroh. Moves like his dragon breath that used to be really powerful and you could just be able to camp on the edge of the screen on the stage, it had bigger range. And it seems like that, just changes like that, unique changes like that, are significant to make the character more fun to go against, instead of just spammy, where he can just continue to have that advantage with his dragon breath. And it had extended range when he first came out, but now with the new patch, it's not as big of a range, and he can still be able to hit you, of course, but it won't last as long. So the duration and the range have been turned down. Just changes like that is what the patch was about. And seeing characters like Doodleball being a background stage or a background character in the latest stage that they added, I wish we had more. And to be open and honest, I'm disappointed because we didn't get anything announced as far as the anniversary. We didn't get anything announced as far as new characters, which I thought everybody thought. I'm not the only one, I'm sure. If you're listening to this, you probably thought that there was going to probably be more. Maybe it would be some kind of anniversary special surprise announcement under the hood, sort of secrets kept with characters being hidden so they wouldn't get leaked and things not being shared in regards to information and characters for the game. I'm just disappointed that we're probably not going to be able to see any more of great characters like this that got added. And he's my personal favorite that got added for the DLC. We're just talking about this for a while before we start talking about the character requests. And it sucks because this game deserves so much more. I wish there was more, and people have moved on. And some people might come back just to test out the patch, and then that's probably going to be it. And just when it comes to the online, there's not many people playing the game. If you are a competitive player, those are the only type of people that are playing the game that's looking to climb that ladder playing rank. That's where the significant amount of players are playing this mode for rank play. But when you see lobbies like this, public lobbies, it's not that many. It's still the weekend, and it's a few days after, a couple days after the anniversary, which was Thursday, for its 1 year anniversary. This game is 1 year old now, and a whole year later, this game has really fallen off, and it's just not the same anymore. And I'm just one of those players and one of those kind of creators that just wanted to see more content. I love covering their content and talking about the updates. I cover every single patch that has come out for this game and streamed it live, not just making a video about it. Live streaming the game, testing out what got fixed, testing out some of the characters. The AI still needs to be fixed. It's still a lot that needs to be fixed and needs to be done for this game, but we're probably not going to get any more characters, unfortunately, when it comes to the content. Because when you look at things like this, for the menu brawlers, look at all this space. I just wanted to showcase this again today. You got all this space. We could have had a lot more, don't you think? Somebody could have went under a new mystery character or a new rep, a new show could go under Reptar. It could be more, but we're probably not going to get any more, and it's sad. So because we're not going to have any more content, and it's probably going to be limited to only patches, which is not something that I wanted to see happen to this game, and it happened too fast. It seemed like the game is still fairly new. It's only just hit a year, and there's nothing to really look forward to now. And now that we got the biggest patch, we don't have anything else to look forward to, because the majority of the players out there were so curious, and just like me, we're looking for new characters to get into this game as far as the roster, and we don't have any more coming in, it seems like, all things considered, because a lot has changed with the team and things aren't the same anymore. So I don't know. My question is, when are they going to come out and say that this is the end? When are they going to tell us what the patches are going to entail for this game? Because it's just a mystery. When are they going to post the information? When we're going to find out where they're going to go? What direction are they headed for this game? Since there's not going to possibly be any more characters, and this is just all we're going to get. It's unfortunate. And it's just like I already predicted and just was speculating, this is definitely going to probably be the Friday the 13th situation, when that game was only getting patches and bug fixes for that game, and now it's on its way out the door next month when the server shut down. I'm not saying the servers are going to shut down for this game, but it's going to be in a similar light, in a similar fashion, when it comes to the patches being the only thing that we can get for this game. And considering how long this took to come out, we're probably definitely not going to find out anything as far as new characters. Is there going to be another game? I just don't like when they just start over. Things just go up in flames and nothing is being said, and the communication goes down. A game comes out, it gets advertised for a brief period of time, and then it just fizzles out, and it's as if the game doesn't exist, and the characters don't get marketed well. So the players are not aware of what's going on, and people can't stay in the light. So I'm definitely disappointed in this game and this team as far as how they handled this, and how they're just not communicating, and just how we could have had so much more. We should have gotten more, and this game just hasn't even been out that long. So that's just my whole take on the situation, and the anniversary is definitely one of the worst. I thought it was going to be more. I thought we were going to get something, some kind of information. It doesn't take long to make a post. I wish we had some kind of news on where this game is headed, but it looks like it's not going to be any sort of good news for this game. So I guess the patch is all we got now. But let's start talking about the character requests, and for this series that I like doing, and I'm going to continue to do the series, and I want to make that announcement now. This series is going to continue to go on and on and on for new potential characters that could join the next game, or if they do another platform fighter that plays a little bit differently, or things like that. If we get another game, these character series is going to go and continue to go on. I'm not going to stop creating videos and movesets. Nobody else is making these movesets and stuff like that. It's part of my exclusive series that I started way before, since the first game came out, and it has been so much fun just making these characters and talking about them, doing the research. Even characters like Rita Loud that I didn't know too much about, is characters that you guys want to see, characters that you guys want to see make it into this game and get added, because there's so much more that this game can get as far as new series. So let's talk all things LoudHouse for the rest of the video, and you guys can chime in and hang out in the premiere if you want to, and share your thoughts in the live comments of what you think is possibly going to be next for this game, and whether or not you think we'll probably end up getting a third game. Maybe we'll have a new team, maybe it'll be behind a different team, or maybe it'll be behind a different publisher, or it could be something else. Maybe this will be the final Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl game that we get, and we might get a different Nickelodeon crossover game in the near future, maybe sometime next year, because we're already getting a new SpongeBob game, or some kind of SpongeBob update. It could even be a new game or expansion for Cosmic Shade, or it could be something else in regards to the Flying Dutchman. So we're getting that information next year. So maybe what are the chances of seeing another Nickelodeon crossover? So Lucy Loud is the only character that we have for this game, and we're just going to keep it on her for a little bit, and then we'll be moving on to the stages and movesets and things like that. So it was still shocking to see one LoudHouse rep get into the game. But let's get into the LoudHouse. If you haven't seen the show, we're just going to start talking about the backstory. What are the chances of a new LoudHouse characters getting into this game, since Lucy is the only rep solo, or the solo rep in this game, just like we have with certain characters like Jimmy Neutron and more, and Jenny. So let's get to know the backstory of Rita Loud, she's the mother of Lincoln Loud and the Loud sisters in the family, like Lucy Loud, one of the 10 sisters. She also appears in the Casa Grandes. She keeps the family together. Rita keeps the family together with the good vibes, and if there's trouble in the family, she takes action and she'll take care of it. She strives to be a writer and creating these stories, writing these novels on her computer, these storylines. She loves creating her own stories. And as far as that, it's just short and sweet. There's nothing much else to her story. She's the mother of the LoudHouse family, and she keeps everything in order and keeping everyone in line for the siblings, for Lucy Loud, Lincoln Loud, and company. That's part of this big giant family of the Louds. So that's just a little bit of her backstory, and she also has some knowledge of learning to fly planes and stuff like that. I'm going to get into that later on. She has some of that knowledge that she learned all this stuff from. She's not just a mom, she's the coolest, one of the coolest moms that you could ever be able to meet because of what she has learned in the past. And she even knows how to pilot a plane and does cool things in the show. She really looks out for the LoudHouse family and looks after the siblings and just everybody in the family and the household in general. So I definitely recommend checking out the show if you have not seen the LoudHouse before. If you don't know much about her, you can even type it in on the search. It's cool moments, just some of her highlights. What makes Rita Loud the coolest mom ever? She knows a lot of stuff. She's not your typical mom that's boring. She's a lot of fun, and she knows a lot of different techniques and skills, and she's a fighter. So that's what also helps make her potential fighter potential. When she really gets angry, you definitely don't want to make her mad. So I think that's how Lola gets her rage from. I think Lola developed her rage from Rita, and I think that's how she got it. So it's fitting for her to be in this game, and maybe some kind of bonus character that can get into the game. They're probably not going to go for Rita Loud. They'll probably go for other LoudHouse siblings before she ever gets in. Maybe Rita would probably be most likely a background character. Maybe. But let me know what you guys think. Now it's time for the stages. The one thing I just keep on saying, I just wish it was more stages that we've gotten. We only got 2 new stages as a result in 1 year of the game. And none of the DLC characters that we got from this title, they never came out with a stage. Mr. Krabs didn't get the Krusty Krab. Zuko didn't get an additional avatar stage. Iroh didn't even contain one. We would have had double the Fire Nation stages, but they could have pulled back on one of the other original stages. I forgot the name of the stage from Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl that was in it. It was from the I think it was Top Stage, but I forgot the name of it. Outside of the air temple that's already in the game. And then Rocksteady could have had a new TMNT stage. We already got Roots Out Rumble and more. We could have had like Shredder's headquarters or something like that. They could have brought back Slime Time. He could have been included with a Slime Time remaster, because Shredder came out with the Slime Time Double Dare stage. It would have been cool to see that. Just something new. For stages, just take a look. We got the Loud Castle and we got the Royal Woods Cemetery. We got 2 LoudHouse stages, but only one LoudHouse character. Lincoln Loud is in the background for the Loud Castle, but the LoudHouse is missing. The LoudHouse never returned from the first game, but we got a different version, a new upgraded version of the Royal Woods Cemetery stage, which was from the first game, but the LoudHouse never made its return. So I wanted to bring that back right off the bat. Anytime it's just any sort of LoudHouse character that returns or just gets added into the game to stack up, the LoudHouse itself can return with an all-new remake, because SpongeBob's Jellyfish Fields had a new version of the game, and then the original also returned, which was let me see, it was this one. The original Jellyfish Fields is several different variations that contain the Jellyfish Fields from SpongeBob, and they even made it bigger and expanded for the stage, which is what they could do for the LoudHouse if it returns as a new stage. Didn't want to settle with that, they can also go with the original Royal Woods Cemetery Throwback. So since Jellyfish Fields came back in both new and old, they could do the same for Royal Woods Cemetery. Keep this one, and they can bring the tombstones back that would pop up from the original if you played the first game. That could also count. And then one more final stage that I included the Royal Woods High School for Rita to be included for her DLC, all in one package. Something different that could represent another stage from the show. Since we got the Loud Castle, that's new, which I like. And then the Royal Woods Cemetery is also great too. But why not Royal Woods High School? Maybe some of the other characters like Clyde can be shown as some of the other characters that appear in the show, and maybe some other siblings can make their appearance heading to class. Clyde, McBride, and many other characters could possibly appear. Royal Woods High School fits Rita Loud, and it also would go alongside of the return of a throwback of a Royal Woods Cemetery, and then the LoudHouse can make its return. Now, I don't even think there was any other stages that could possibly be able to fit it. I definitely wanted to see the LoudHouse back, but it's probably too late now. Maybe they can add stages. Maybe new stages can join the game. Since we're most likely not getting any other characters, maybe they can add new stages, but it's probably just going to be patches, because that's just probably going to be too much at this rate, considering the changes. Probably no more stages at this point, so we'll probably have to wait for something else to come out. Well, we're going to get into the costumes. I didn't want to go with anything plain like this, so she has just a helmet. I wanted to bring more for it. The costumes, I'm going to just start with Rita's Gardener outfit. So she wears a straw hat, pink button shirt, and pink garden shoes. She was also seen wearing purple in the Future Tense and Right and Wrong episode. So these are the costumes that I wanted to go with, just to try to make it look quality and not just try to rush and just pick anything. I like making sure the costumes fit the character, and it'll fit the player's interest of wanting to play the character, because it's the costumes that they want to see to be of interest. Her next costume, I went with Rita's workout outfit. She wears a white tank top, red and white wristbands and socks, blue shorts, and white shoes. And I got this from the Loudest Yard. I was gonna say the Longest Yard, because I remember that movie. I like some of the episode names that they come up with from the LoudHouse too. I haven't seen all of them, of course. So this is her workout outfit from the Loudest Yard episode, where she does a workout with Lincoln. The Undercover Mom, Brita the Undercover Mom, is the next costume I went with, for something that could be just as good as this, for what she has in the game, outside of just this helmet. So Rita goes, for Brita the Undercover Mom, Rita goes undercover as a student at the Royal Woods High School for her story project on teen life. So it was her new story idea. Remember, I was mentioning how she writes stories and she creates novels and things like that, her own stories. Rita goes undercover as a student to find out more about life as a teen, as an idea for her job. She even changed her name to Brita. So this is from the Undercover Mom episode, which I think will be a cool costume that I think fans out there would like, for LoudHouse fans. And then the next costume, Date Night. Rita wears a blue tank top with white hoop earrings on her date with Lynn Sr. And that's from the L is for Love episode, so y'all can check that out. And then I also went with her wedding dress, where Rita wore this in the LoudHouse movie, which I think will really look good for fans to really buy this character. Just costumes that people will be interested in. And then for something a little bit of a bonus, some of these characters don't have, like, you see what they did? I want to use Zuko for example. See how they see his hair is different, and they went with the blue spirit, and this is the OG Zuko when he has the ponytail when he first met Aang and he was hunting Aang down, hunting the Avatar. see the different hairstyles, something could also be included for a unique customization option for Rita when she comes out. If she was to get into this game, a lot from the LoudHouse movie, she had a bonus ponytail hairstyle, so you could be able to customize her hairstyle regardless of what costume that you want to wear, from the wedding dress or the undercover mom, things like that, or her workout outfit, etc. You can change her hairstyle. And they see the difference. It's two different versions of Zuko. If they did this for him, they could definitely do this for Rita Loud as an idea. And it's just a push of a button when you want to change the costumes. They could start beefing up the options for customization, so you could change the hair color, the eyes and stuff like that, the color of the top of the shirt, shoes, pants and stuff like that. They can come out with some of these customization options, so that way it's not just a push of a button. You can change the hairstyle with some of these characters when they come out. It'll make the DLC purchase a little bit more different, so you're not just buying the character, you can unlock those new features when you get the character, so it's a more bang for your buck, so you can be able to customize the character and wear what you want to wear. As far as the color, maybe a color wheel, a color palette, so you could be able to change the color and things like that. You know, see how they got Purple Rosar? He can be red or something like that, red or blue, for example. A color palette, just some options that they could play around with for some of these characters, and I think it'll work for her as a costume. Some kind of customization options for a new LoudHouse rep. Now it's time for the taunts and animations. I wanted to try to make these a little bit, well, as great as possible. I couldn't find too much, but one thing I think she could say, oh yeah, that's right, don't mess with Mama Loud, is when she gets mad. In the camp episode, she even scared off a bear that was ready to attack the LoudHouse family. She stepped up to the plate and scared. She put fear in a bear in the cave, and that didn't even just made him run away and didn't want to attack them. She scared the daylights out of the bear in the camp episode. I think that's one of my favorite moments. And I think using this camp episode is more proof of how she can be able to have that fighter potential and unleash her rage, because she scared off a bear that was ready to just attack everyone in her family. She's a protector, so this will be something that can work as some kind of reaction for quote that she could do. So for this one, I did writer's block for a little taunt. As a writer, since she writes her own stories and novels, Rita can be sitting down typing. You just quickly sit down typing on her laptop. I think it'll be a great fit for her. And her not taking you seriously, well, she doesn't have to fight. She could just have time to write and work on that novel and her story that she's been still editing and working on. So I got this from the Fed Up episode. So I thought this could be something that could work as a taunt for her, for something unique. The next taunt that I selected and came up with, a tap dance performance. And I got this from the Crown and Dirty episode. It was when she did the tap dance performance with Lola from the mother-daughter pageant. She could do that tap dance, that same little dance that she does on stage during the pageant, as another bonus, another additional taunt that I think could work with Rita. Now, we're going to get into the winning and losing animations. Now, this one I wanted to bring into turn it into a taunt, but I think this will be better fit for a winning animation. So this one, go mom, go. It's a go mom victory dance. So Rita can do her iconic victory dance moves. When she said, go mom, shake that booty. It's from the Come Sail Away episode. So y'all can check that winning animation out. And from the episode, that's where I pulled it from a unique reference. I think players would like this more as a winning animation instead of a taunt, but it could go hand in hand. It could be both for her victory dance that she did in front of the family. Now her losing animation, I had Rita, I pictured Rita screaming so she can cry and scream at the same time. And something that I picked up from the LoudHouse movie is when Lenny ruined her wedding dress on accident, spilling kale juice on her wedding dress. She started screaming and crying and things like that. That could be an ideal losing animation. I just didn't want to keep on making it the same over and over with some of these characters being able to cry, but this is the closest thing that I think could work, because she cries, Jenny cries, Ember cries in losing animation, and Jenny cries also, and there's just so many other characters in a mix. I just didn't want to have them do the same thing. I think it's also Ren and Stimpy that also cry for the losing animation. But this is something that I think fits and makes the most sense. I just didn't want to make up anything. So that's from the LoudHouse movie. And then Come Sail Away episode is her victory dance that a lot of people like to see, that I think would fit for a winning animation. Now, my favorite part, as I always say, is the moveset, and I wanted to try to make this character different. And I'm gonna just come out and say it. I'm not trying to focus on trying to just keep on, oh, this character can play like this character from Super Smash Bros. This character can play like this character from Multiverses. I want to come up with my own ideas and my own unique ideas instead of just trying to bite off of some other game and things like that. Or they could just play like Princess Peach. They could just play like a certain other character and things like that. I want to come up with my own moves instead to fit the character's personality and how they act and what they do in the show, and based on the actions they perform. So it's not about making a character the new Meta Knight or any other Smash character or any other character to make that comparison. I want them to stand out and not rush through the moveset. That's why these take time. So I wanted to create this moveset based on the things that I've seen her do and her personality and her interests, so that way it makes sense. So the hammer, for example, that she used from Rita Her Rights episode, I call this Hammer Time, where Rita drops the hammer on her enemies with a short combo and a final blow that can be able to, like a final swing with her hammer that can send enemies flying. And something that I thought of is with how Zuko has his swords. They let you use his swords and brandish his blades or his sword and use them in a fight. She'll be able to use her hammer the same way that Zuko uses his swords in the game. So I thought this would be something that could be unique. So for a projectile, I thought she could be able to toss her scrap novels across the screen to damage opponents for some of her stories that are unfinished and stories that she wasn't satisfied with. And you know how writers, or journalists and things like that, or writers and people that create novels and write stories and stuff like that, they get writer's block, as I mentioned before. This could be something that can also be able to stand out as a projectile, with her being able to toss scrap novels for her bookworm sort of a projectile attack as an idea. So I thought this could be something that could work for a projectile attack for her novels, something to be some kind of projectile that she can use, instead of just throwing food and utensils, silverware, for example. So that's our projectile attack, just throwing little scrap novels that's unfinished and things that she didn't want to commit to for those unfinished stories. Her next move, Charming Kiss. Rita's kiss leaves behind a floating heart for a limited amount of time. They don't have something like that, but with Ember's little stun, when she does her solo strings with her guitar, it'll stun you. And I thought it could work something similar to this, but with Rita's kiss, it'll leave a floating heart behind on the field for a limited amount of time, and enemies who run into it will be charmed and paralyzed. So I think this will also be a fitting technique that she can use in the field. And I was trying to think if there's anyone else that has something similar outside of what she does with her solo that can stun you. So I don't think it was any other characters that have that. Something that can stun you for a limited amount of time. So it's just Ember that leaves you under that status effect or status element that's in the game that has that. So that's where I ended up getting it from. Lucy Loud doesn't have anything like that in her move kit when you start playing this character. So her next her special ability, Mama Loud Rage. Rita can go wild and unleash all her anger and frustration out on her enemies. This ability can only activate when her damage percentage is over 90%. And one thing I wanted to pull as a reference, as a little throwback from the first game, if you played it, remember when Aang, if you guys played Aang, when he used the avatar state, his avatar state for Aang from Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 1 from the first game, he will only be able to have that. He will only be able to trigger his avatar state when he reached a certain amount of damage, when it was about 100%. I think it had to be right on 100% for him to be able to use his avatar state, or exceed. It had to be right on 100% damage received, or beyond that percentage of damage taken, to be able to use the avatar state. So that's just something that I wanted to make it, just give her something that references that avatar state when she really gets angry. And with this, she's going to be able to deal more damage with her Mama Lao rage, and that's what she gets. Like, she's like that in the show when she gets angry, and she becomes really strong and just ready to fight. The next move is a hip attack, where Rita lunges her body towards her opponents that can knock enemies back. And something just to not just settle with that and make it all basic. If she misses, she will stumble on the ground, leaving her vulnerable. So I think this is something that'll definitely be able to work with her technique, to be able to use her body as a battering ram to be able to knock enemies back. So she can be able to miss, and you'll be able to capitalize and be able to punish her right off the bat if she does end up missing her hip attack. I gave her a summon, and I wanted to utilize Charles the dog. It's the family dog. It's their pet from the in the household. I wanted to give Charles a little bit of a spotlight, almost like Rocco uses Spunky. So Charles the dog is going to be a summoning. So Rita can summon her loyal pet Charles on the battlefield to protect Rita. Charles will be AI controlled and bite nearby enemies and occasionally jump in the air. So I thought this would be something that can be used as something that, as a bonus technique or some kind of summon, because not many characters have a summon in this game. Using Charles the dog would be fun to really be able to see and really be able to distract the opponents and be able to inflict damage. So not only are you going to be watching out for Rita, but Charles will be able to follow you around. And if you're doing like 4-player multiplayer, he's going to attack anybody that's near, and he's going to be able to have complete control of the battlefield to be a distraction. So players going to have to keep an eye out on Charles to make sure he's not going to be in the way. So you have to jump, dodge, maybe even use your shield a little bit and stuff like that, just to try to prevent damage from Charles and him biting and attacking you. He will also be able to occasionally jump in the air. So I wanted to make him really strong to make a huge difference and really be a threat on the battlefield. Now we're going to get into the recovery move and her super that I came up with to wrap up this moveset. Her recovery move, the coolest mom ever. Rita has pilot skills and is able to fly a plane with the whole family in, thanks to her pop, who showed her how to pilot a plane and learn how to fly in the past. It's brought up in the Tripped episode. So Rita can be able to Rita can be able to pilot a plane to safely land back onto the battlefield. So this is from the Tripped episode that y'all can be able to check out. So she'll be flying in the plane solo, so she's going to be a DLC character, but it's just something to reference from the Tripped episode when she took her family all on a plane ride, and they didn't even know if she knew how to fly the plane, but they were so surprised that she already had that knowledge from the past. So this is an ideal recovery I wanted to come up with for her that I think makes the most sense. Now for her ultimate or her super, I wanted to use the Vanzilla. So Rita can jump into the Vanzilla for a joyride and mow down all the opponents on the battlefield. It almost makes you think of Donatello's turtle van, but I wanted to give her manual control with the Vanzilla itself. It's the family vehicle they ride in from the show, so when they're on the road, and to get from point A to B, the Vanzilla is the family vehicle. Rita can definitely have that in her move kit to make her dangerous for her ultimate. I could have gave her the rage and things like that, if I wanted to, but I wanted to add that as a unique ability as a little reference, an old school reference from Aang that he used to have for his avatar state. So it's going to be something that she's going to have, not just because, not for a super, but some kind of active ability when she has taken a significant amount of damage. So the Vanzilla seems to be something that will be more idea. And the one thing I wanted to do with this is make it stand out and just make her unique, make her into an actual fighter to help convince the viewers out there that probably don't think she belongs. She could definitely be a great fighter, and considering the fact that she scared a bear away, it just shows you how dangerous she is, and she was able to protect her family that way. So she's definitely strong. But the one thing I want to just talk about, just to close out, let's try to get here to the news. It's such that we're probably not going to be able to see any of these characters. We probably won't see her. We probably won't see any other characters get into this game. Iroh is probably going to be the end all be all. This is probably the end when it comes to characters, but we're probably going to get just patches and things like that every few months, which is not what I want. And it's sad. I just wish we had more. I wish we had a lot more to be able to just get into. No more items, no more stages potentially, no more characters. I just wish it was going to be more. But now it's time to start thinking about the future.
Welcome to Nickelodeon
All-Star Brawl 3! Imagine that. I can hear him already visually saying that. Welcome to Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 3. They did Kart Racers 3. They did Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3. So what's stopping them from making a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 3? Unless somebody else picks up the game and it starts getting content. Well, even more content and characters. But I'm not sure if that's probably going to be the case, because considering all the things that went down, I don't know the full story, but it just seems like there's not going to be any more for this game. And just a whole year later, I can't even believe I'm saying this. A whole year later, there's not going to be any more content for this game. I am definitely surprised. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this character and what you guys would like to see in the future. Hopefully we'll get more. Hopefully get better. We deserve better communication. We don't need to be ghosted. We need to get some information on what goes on instead of just playing this guessing game and then just waiting a whole year to find out there's going to be more content or a new game. It's just hurting them at this point, and it's just not going to help them in the future. It's not going to allow the game to grow. It's just going to be limited to patches, and then the same people are just going to be playing against each other. It's not going to attract anybody new. It's not going to keep the players around.